This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Thank you for listening to the Golden State Media Concept Sports Podcast, where we discuss the latest and greatest news in the world of sports. As always, I'm Ben.
Hey, Ben, I'm Alex.
We're just reminiscing on Bruce Almighty.
Dude, I love that movie. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I like that movie a lot.
Have you seen Evan Almighty?
I never watched...
That's the one with Steve Carell.
Maybe I watched some of Evan Almighty.
It's kind of like a sequel, because it's the same name.
I don't like it.
He has the same name in the movie. Evan Baxter.
Baxter.
And he runs for, I think it's Congress or something.
He was a weatherman, though.
Right, and then he leaves to run for Congress or something like that.
No, that's the real story right there.
He becomes Noah and builds a Noah's Ark.
Oh wait, he wasn't a weatherman. He was a regular news anchor because Bruce was the weatherman.
Yeah, or no, he was a reporter.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm getting weatherman. Maybe because he was Noah. I don't know.
That was Evan though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's why, because I said Evan was a weatherman.
That's okay, but anyways, reminiscing on famous, not necessarily famous, but funny bits and pieces of the movie.
Yeah, Ben.
We are here at the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network.
Yeah, say Ben and I always do funny movie quotes to each other. That's kind of how our friendship really blossomed in high school.
It did. That's how, and now it's bringing us all the way here.
It's full circle. It's a circle.
It's a circle.
It's a circle.
That's from Chuck and Larry, right?
Uh-huh.
I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
I watched that movie for the first time.
It's a circle.
In a long time, a couple weeks ago, actually. It was on TV. I was like, you know what? I'll watch a little bit of Chuck and Larry.
It's a funny movie.
I like Adam Sandler for the most part.
I like Adam Sandler, too. One of my favorite
actors. Not so much
actors.
what he's doing lately, but...
Yeah, well, some of his recent stuff we'll not discuss.
I don't need to talk about that. I'll talk about Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. I'm good with those.
I love Billy Madison.
Big Daddy.
I love Billy Madison, though. Yeah.
I would say Big Daddy is my favorite Adam Sandler movie, then Happy Gilmore, then Billy Madison.
That's good.
That's a good ranking.
Ranking. There you go.
It's a good ranking.
There we go.
All right. Well, hey,
let's transition from.
I would say, yeah, this is my last show of the week, Ben.
Until you move on to San Diego, going to Comic-Con.
Yeah, and I'll be back after that. But this is my last show of the week, so let's make it.
Are you going to dress up?
Good one. I was going to, but I lacked funds to get material in which to do so. What I was going to do is, because I'm a huge Batman fan, I'm a huge DC fan, I was going to do Jared Leto Joker because my hair is similar in that sense of length. I do it to the side, but I can do it back really easily.
Right.
And I'm letting the top grow right now, just cutting the sides. As a matter of fact, I'm getting it.
It wouldn't be too hard.
Trimmed. No, it wouldn't be hard, but see, the outfit is the hard part. Well, Hot Topic just debuted pretty much his costume, like different costumes from the movie, and the one that's not too out there, where it's like this red like long sleeve dress shirt and these pants and this over jacket. And I was like, dope. Like, I'll just get that. It debuts next week. So too late for Comic-Con. Otherwise, I would have done that. Like, I got the hair dye and everything. My brother's girlfriend, she's an art major. Well, she was an art. She has a degree in art and stuff, so she could have done those tattoos really easily on me. So could have done that. Would have been fine doing that. But I also thought, it's okay if I don't do that, because imagine how many of those are going to be there this year with the movie set to come out in 2 weeks, even though I'd already seen it. Like, most people haven't. So the excitement for that is real. And so I imagine there'll be a lot of them. I might still dye my hair, though. I might still use that hair dye. Not literal dye. I might still spray.
Washout?
Yeah, like that old school hairspray stuff. Yeah, I might do that. But other than that, no. But all the shirts I have packed, none of them are, every shirt I have in there is comic themed. So.
Well, yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah, so even for the Blink-182 concert, I'm still going to wear probably my Flash t-shirt.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Thanks, man. Let's tell the people what we're talking about today.
All right, so we're going to start off our show here with talking about the NBA Summer League. The Summer League concluded last night.
In epic fashion.
Thrilling effort here at the Summer League final between the Bulls and the Timberwolves. We're going to talk about that, as well as some winners and losers of the Summer League. We're going to transition into Arian Foster. He's found a new team, really the leading rusher in the history of the Houston Texans, no longer a member of the team.
Mm-hmm. Definitely wasn't Amon Green, I'll tell you that.
He's found a new home on a new team. and then we're going to finish out our show with our ever-popular What's Trending, featuring people like Jim Harbaugh, Rob Gronkowski,
NFL footballs,
Karl Anthony Towns,
and
much
Alex
more.
and Ben.
And much more.
And much more, yeah. We can't give you all of it yet, because why would we do that?
We got to leave you with some wild thoughts leading into the segment.
Made me think a Wild Thing from Major League, starring Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
Another movie. All right.
Wild Thing Vaughn. Rick Vaughn.
Rick, a Wild Thing Vaughn. I'm so
Love
happy
that
you know.
movie.
Yeah, me
Favorite
too, man.
baseball movie, Major League 1 and 2.
Do you like? Yeah, you like 2. Do you like 3?
No.
When they're in the minor leagues, dude, I love that one.
No.
I love 3.
Not the same.
Dude, yeah, that's Major League 1 and 2 are my second favorite baseball movies behind Sandlot.
I would put Major League ahead of Sandlot.
All right. We'll have a discussion
Not by
about this after the
much,
show.
but-
Okay, no worries. All
Okay.
right, but let's get started. Let's get going.
NBA Summer League Championship from Las Vegas concludes last night. We have the Chicago Bulls coming out on top over the Minnesota Timberwolves 84-82 in overtime. Did you see the way the finish went, Alex?
Oh, I saw the way the finishing went. Yeah. Buzzer beater.
Well, really, almost 2 buzzer beaters.
Almost 2 buzzer beaters. A shot to tie it at the end and a shot to win it at the end of overtime by the same person.
Yeah, so Minnesota had a 3. The game was tied originally. Then Tyus Jones, really Minnesota's best player of the whole entire Summer League. He's definitely one of the standouts. He won the Summer League MVP of the whole tournament. He hits a 3-pointer with about 5 seconds left to give them a 3-point lead. Then Denzel Valentine, first-round pick of the Bulls, a guy I really like. I talked about that going into the draft. I thought that was a great pick that the Bulls made there. He hits a 3 to tie the game right at the end of regulation, so they go to overtime. Then Denzel Valentine again hits the game winner in overtime to win the championship for the Bulls. Great thought, great moment for Valentine in his young rookie NBA career.
Yeah, that's cool. I feel like the Summer League is cool for a lot of young rookies and then players too getting in their second year, like Willie Cauley-Stein played this year. Following his rookie year. I think it's cool for guys like that because it is kind of your first taste of NBA game, of NBA gameplay and stuff like that. But it's still like you're not thrown in the fire right away. You get this kind of it's in a sense it's like preseason football, but it's not at the same time because preseason football is done so differently. Like you get this whole tournament to where you get to play and it's a team of you guys, and I think it's kind of cool the way they do that.
Yeah, the Bulls really a winner of the whole thing. They won the tournament. They also went 7-0 in the whole Summer League. Jarian Grant wins the Summer League final MVP for the game last night. Mm-hmm. He was involved in the trade with Derrick Rose, so he comes over from the Knicks. So that obviously that looks like it's turning out well for them. Bobby Portis had a great Summer League as well. Mm-hmm. Denzel Valentine was really consistent, averaged about 11 points, 6 or 7 rebounds, so it's not too bad for Denzel Valentine. The Bulls had a great Summer League.
Yeah, it's also cool, too, because like you mentioned, he came over in the Derrick Rose trade. It's cool for the Summer League because a lot of times you can have young guys maybe – I would say pushing in about 2 to 3 years, 30-year players. If they get traded, they can come over and play with some of these guys and get some kind of cohesiveness with them, and get to know them and get to know how they play and playing with them. So it's just another reason why it's cool, in my opinion, that the NBA still does the Summer League.
Yeah, I actually like the Summer League. It's good for the younger players you mentioned. It's good for players who may know they're not really NBA material, but maybe an audition for teams in Europe, maybe some
Mm-hmm.
D-League teams, so it's not too bad. So Summer League, I look at it as if you're trying to make that next jump, that next step after your rookie year, your second year in the Summer League, you better perform.
Yeah.
Because that's really going to showcase you. Some guys who really did that this year, Devin Booker of the Suns, Trey Lyles of the Utah Jazz, they really only played a game or two in Summer League because the teams were like, okay, you're definitely put in work in the offseason. You're looking good. We're going to sit you down. We don't want you to get any kind of injuries. Devin Booker, a guy who had a great rookie year for the Suns, really known as a great shooter, averaged about 14 points a game last year. He only played one game in the Summer League. He had 29 points. Mm-hmm. So he knows what he's doing. Another guy for the Suns I really liked this year was Tyler Ulis, second-round pick out of Kentucky. Really fell to that second round because he's really undersized. He's only about 5'10". Had a great Summer League. The Suns are really doing a lot with Kentucky. You have them just drafting Ulis and Booker last year. They also have another guy they drafted out of Kentucky a couple years ago. Oh, his name is escaping me. What is his name?
I can tell you if you ask me the question.
What is his name?
I'm saying, who's he play for?
Oh, Archie Goodwin. There we go. There we go.
I was
Archie
gonna say,
Goodwin.
I'll give you a quick little search while you
His
talk.
name was escaping me. Archie Goodwin, who's another great player. He's a solid player. He's really consistent. He's not going to score 20 points a game, and he's not going to, put up 5. He's not a bad player. Another guard. So the Suns are doing a lot of good things. I think a couple winners. Obviously, the high draft picks. Ben Simmons had a great summer league, as well as Brandon Ingram. Chris Dunn looked well. Minnesota really, as a whole, looked well. Tyus Jones, we mentioned, summer league MVP. Minnesota, a lot of good young players there. Now you throw maybe if Tyus Jones, who's a second-year guy at Duke, he's another point guard. So you have a really, really logjam point guard with Dunn, Jones, as well as Ricky Rubio. Reports are that they're not looking to trade Rubio.
Reports.
Right, reports are what they are. So take them as you want. But anyway, so the Minnesota, really more great young talent. You couldn't be happier if you're a T-Wolves fan.
Yeah. It's a good summer league, if you ask me. I mean, the summer league, you look at it with a different kind of idea leading in. I mean, you have teams that obviously losers of this year would be the Kings. They didn't win one single game this year, but a couple years ago they won the summer league, and then obviously had a regular kind of Kings season. So you look at it with a grain of salt. It's good and it's bad.
The Kings are definitely one of my losers of the summer league, though, Alex. You did mention, man. They did not win a game. They were 0-5. Papagiannis, their first rounder out of Greece, did not really play well. Willie Cauley-Stein, you mentioned, did play. He also did not play that well.
He played like 2 games.
They had a lot of injuries. Isaiah Cousins didn't look too good.
He didn't play for the first 3 games.
Didn't play that much. So
I take it with a grain of salt.
And then you have that negative media coming out with what DeMarcus Cousins has said lately.
I don't look at that as negative media. He just pretty much said he doesn't know what they're doing with their draft, but it's not his place to know. You know what I mean? He's not. It's not like they run by their draft plans. And any players really, when it comes to most teams, I mean, he said it's not his place. It's not something he just controls what he can control. So I don't look at that as bad media. Some people will skew it and be like, "Oh, look at it, he's saying he doesn't like it." He's just saying he doesn't understand it, but that's not his place to understand. It's not his job to do that. His job is to play basketball and win basketball games. So, I look at that way.
Here's my thought. Okay, if it's not his place to talk about the draft, and it's not his place to draft players, he did not give them any sort of idea of who he likes or anything. If it's not his place for that, then why is he talking about it?
People ask questions, man. He'll answer.
You don't have to answer.
He'll answer questions, but he'll put it in his own, way. He's still a young guy. He does stuff he's not supposed to. Sometimes he'll tweet stuff and be like, "Oh, that wasn't talking about that," things like that. But I mean, any player might do so. They might be frustrated, but they're not going to say it at the end of the day. Still. You know what I mean? But with him, I think, whether or not he's frustrated, he said the right thing. It's not his job to worry about it. His job is to go play basketball. So. Yeah,
but if it's not his job to talk about that, then why is he talking about it? That's my thought. I think he
didn't go very into it,
But still, even just mentioning it, it's not.
I get what you mean. He probably should have said that's not my. Started off with that's not my job to worry about. But I again, there's a lot wrong with the Kings. I as a fan, believe me.
Yeah, I feel like
I just try to surf through most of it and remember that the stadium's opening up this year and to look forward to that.
Yeah, I feel like the Kings are on my list this year because everyone really criticized their draft coming out of it, and it's like, okay, this was your first chance here in the summer league to really prove the critics wrong, and that didn't happen.
Well, yeah, but you also have your majority of your starting lineup not playing. They're all not going to be in the summer league. So, again, it's something I look at it with a grain of salt for sure, with most of these teams in that sense.
I guess in a way you can consider that. When I look at the summer league, I mentioned a little earlier, I feel like if you can't really perform that well in the summer league, what makes me think it's going to transition over into the NBA?
It really depends on the player, I suppose.
I guess so. In the summer league, a lot of times, especially the young guys that have a lot to prove, they kind of force things. A lot of the top guys are shooting under even 40% for the field, really. So they kind of maybe force things, try to do a little too much, then they sort of wind it down and take it easy as the league starts up, the official NBA league, not the summer league. So
and then playing time's
have to wait
too.
and see.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, you're going to be playing a lot more in the summer league because if you think about it, look at like Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram. You can also throw D'Angelo Russell in there for the Lakers, but they're really like basically the Kobe of their team. They're like the star. When they go into the league, they're going to be just like the mid-tier guy. So
Gotcha. Well, yeah, it's something to pay attention to and something to see. I mean, I'm glad the summer league's over because that means we're getting closer to the NBA season. So
yeah, end of October, start of November is when the NBA really starts getting into gear. You have preseason, of course, where you can get a look at more players. I know you do like preseason stuff, especially the NFL. You can get a look at young guys. So,
We'll take a look at it. And it's funny you mentioned NFL because we are about to take our first break, and when we come back from that break, we will be talking about NFL news. So stay tuned here with us, guys, at the Golden State Media Concept Sports Podcast. Ben and I will be back with news of running back Arian Foster. So don't go anywhere.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be, visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And we are back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast alongside Alex and his six shooters. I'm Ben.
Hey.
Transitioning here to Arian Foster. Yesterday signed a one-year deal worth about $1.5 million with the Miami Dolphins. So he's leaving the Houston Texans, going into a new franchise in Miami.
Yeah, including incentives that could bring it to a total value of a maximum of $3.5 million. Adam Schefter reports, yes, the four-time Pro Bowl running back has discussed and currently is now finally a Dolphin after he had a conference call this week discussing the possibility.
Yeah, he was working out for the Dolphins and I believe the Lions earlier in the week and then previously last week. You know what I find ironic?
What's that?
The Dolphins is the team where he ended his Houston Texans career against. He tore his Achilles against the Dolphins last year.
He split out wide.
And now he's
wide receiver.
A member of the Dolphins. I find that ironic a little bit.
Yeah, I suppose so. He's quoted as saying they're a young team, a hungry team, and that they have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. He's excited to get started. So, what do you think about this? He joins a backfield full that's quite
loaded
full already,
with
not loaded in a good way either.
With the amount of running backs, I mean.
Well, Lamar Miller is not a bad player by any means. He's Miami's leading rusher last year, but he signed with the Texans, so they're kind of flip flopping. Jay Ajayi, I'll never be able to say his name without having to think about it. And rookie Kenyon Drake currently are the top 1 and 2 of the running backs in the Dolphins depth chart. Do you think this puts Arian Foster at number 1?
I think with the addition of Foster, you're going to see really a three-headed monster, a running back by committee. Because if you look at Foster, the concern is the injuries.
Yeah.
Foster's getting ready to turn 30, so really 30 is that age where you sort of turn your career as an NFL running back, where you're kind of on the downward spiral there of your career. Foster, of his last 48 eligible games, he's only played in 24 of them.
Since becoming the Texans starter, he's torn his meniscus and multiple hamstring injuries. He has a knee injury, a back injury that required surgery, a minor groin injury, a major groin injury, and a torn Achilles tendon. Yeah,
the injury concerns are there with Foster. I would not expect him to really finish out the whole season healthy, even in a limited role. I think with the addition of Foster, I think two things. One, it's high reward, low risk, because you're signing him for really nothing. When Foster's been healthy, you mentioned 4-time Pro Bowler. He's a leading rusher in Houston Texans history. He's a great running back. When I look at Arian Foster run in his prime,
he's a glider, man.
I was going to say smooth. Like, so smooth, great cuts. He's a good pass catcher as well. So he adds the receiving aspect out of the backfield.
There was a time that he was the best dual threat running back in the league.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a time where he really was that guy.
So that's why, because of his injury concerns, I feel like you're going to see a mix of all three guys. You mentioned Ajayi, you mentioned Kenyon Drake, and now Arian Foster. I think you're going to see a mix of all these guys because you have the concerns with Foster. I see him at the most getting 15 touches a game.
Yeah, he averaged 20 through his time in the NFL, which is the highest average in the NFL while he was a starter. So it'd be interesting to see if that gets backed off or so on and so forth. Do you recall his season, like his breakout game, his first game?
Yeah, against the Colts.
He ran for 33 times for 231 yards. After being elevated from the practice squad, he was undrafted.
That was really the first time the Texans took that turn where, okay, they're a serious threat to the Colts. When Peyton Manning was still on the Colts.
That was the year Peyton missed, though.
No. That was
2011. That's next year. Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Foster, I feel bad for him because he's had those injury problems. He, like you mentioned, one of the best dual threat running backs of recent times.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for him. He just can't stay healthy,
Yeah, I mean, he won the rushing title that year too. He gained 16 when it came to his yards on 327 carries, and it was the first of his 4 Pro Bowl years. But yeah, just that's the life of the NFL.
Yeah. So
if you can't handle the injuries, that's how it happens.
Yeah. So I think high reward, low risk because you're not paying him anything.
Yeah.
You don't really expect him to be healthy. So if he stays healthy, it's obviously an addition. You add another weapon to Ryan Tannehill, Adam Gaze's first year as the Dolphins head coach. So you add another playmaker in there, maybe a rotational guy. So I think it's a good move. I don't see where it hurts them.
Yeah, I think it's definitely low risk, high reward. He could be, I mean, at the very least, he's a guy that's been in the league and he knows the ins and outs of playing running back in the NFL for a team that's been bad and a team that's been a contender. So I think he can at least bring some kind of knowledge to the running backs there with 2 young guys, a second-year player and a rookie. I think that it's definitely a reward kind of thing. Like they could hit big with this or it could just maybe not pan out. It's not like they're putting a lot of money in him,
Right, and if anything, you could say you mentioned a J.I. second-year guy at Boise State and Kenyon Drake who backed up Derrick Henry at Alabama. He was a great return man as well. So you have a speed factor more with Kenyon Drake, a guy like the home run ability. If anything, they can maybe learn from Arian Foster because he's such a veteran of the league, a well-balanced guy. They can maybe learn something from.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I think could be a good thing for the Dolphins. You think he'll wear 23?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not really a Dolphins fan, so they maybe already have a number 23 jersey filled up. I don't even know. So
yeah, I don't know.
I know when he was in Houston, he originally wore 27, then when 23 became available, he switched to 23. Oh no, he was wearing 37, and then I think he wore 27.
Okay.
Because that first year when he came up the practice squad, you're like really an unknown.
That's what it was. He can't be 23 because that's what Jay Ajayi is.
So new jersey number.
He can't be 27. Currently, they have 20 through 29 filled. So
maybe he switches to the 30s.
Maybe he does. We'll have to see.
I mean the jersey number that doesn't really care.
Some guys it does.
No really care there. So.
Some guys love it, man. All right, well,
whatever.
Hey, moving on. We are taking our last break here at the Golden State Media Concept Sports Podcast, and then we have our favorite segment of every week, and that is What's Trending, Ben. So we will come back and tell you exactly what is trending after this break. So you guys don't go anywhere. Ben and I will be right back.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. Jordan and Keith is Entertainment Tonight meets Access Hollywood.
I'm Jordan. The guy laughing, that's Keith.
Yeah, I'm Keith. An all-inclusive look at pop culture.
We are back here at the Golden State Media Concept Sports Podcast. Alex and I are going to transition into our ever so popular What's Trending.
What's trending?
In the world of sports.
The world of sports.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I will go first because it's not so much what's trending, but it's a birthday wish, and it is happy birthday to Panthers owner Jerry Richardson on his 80th birthday on Monday. They, for those of you who don't know, Carolina built a statue of him in front of their stadium, right in between the Panthers that they have there. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Like the Panther Tamer.
Yeah. Happy birthday to Jerry Richardson, 80 years old. Solid dude. Former NFL player.
One of the most recognizable owners in the NFL, I'd say.
Yeah, former NFL player.
Yeah, so it's good for him. Hopefully they can build on their season they had last year, 15-1, losing in the Super Bowl to the Broncos.
I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, yeah. I mean, for you as a Packers
Did you see that Cam Newton is retiring the dab?
Good. I hate that thing.
He's retiring the dab.
Good. It's about time. All right, your turn, Ben. What you got for me?
All right, so first off, I want to start with George Hill.
George
Hill recently traded from the Pacers to the Utah Jazz. He was involved in that deal that sent Jeff Teague to live back with his parents in Indiana.
From our last What's Trending.
So George Hill found out he was traded to Utah. He found out through a voicemail from Larry Bird.
Ooh, man. From the Bird man.
I feel like Larry could have just said, like, hey, George, I got something I need to talk to you about. Can you come into the office? Or you're
getting traded.
Or he could have been like, "Hey George, I'm just leaving a voicemail. I got somebody to talk to you about. Can you call me back? Instead of just dropping the news right in the voicemail. Just like, hey, George, just want to let you know we're shipping you out of here to Utah. We're bringing in Jeff Teague as your replacement. It's no hard feelings. You've done a lot for the franchise, and have a good career, George.
Oh, man, that's funny. I mean, that's too bad. It's not funny like, ha-ha. Like, that's funny like, man, that sucks.
Like, stuff like this has happened before. Like, Randy Foye was traded from the Denver Nuggets to the Oklahoma City Thunder. He found out through the NBA app that he was traded through those teams.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, man.
You know, like, I kind of compare it to, I know earlier really at the end of the NBA season, the Kings, for their last few games, they did not have Rondo and DeMarcus Cousins go on the trip with them. George Karl, who was the coach, who everyone knew was on the out there as the coach, he did not find out that those two players were not making the trip until he noticed they weren't on the airplane.
Oh, yeah. They kind of stopped telling him stuff.
So, yeah, Vlade didn't even tell them that they weren't making the trip. He just found out that they weren't on the airplane. He said George Hill finds out that he's traded through a voicemail. Like, come on, Larry.
That's better than the app, in my opinion.
Yeah, he told reporters, it came as a surprise. Last time I checked, I was supposed to retire from Indiana. It was very surprising, but I know this is a business and anything can happen. But you couldn't have the decency to tell him to his face or, manned him in on the phone? You just left him a voicemail?
Yeah, I guess not, man.
Must be really that busy, Larry Bird.
Hey, Larry Bird, busy man.
I guess so.
White chocolate's busy. Okay?
White chocolate?
That's his nickname.
I thought that was Jason Williams, but
Jason Williams can be whatever he wants to be.
Okay. Larry Bird is like the reverse of a white chocolate. More like white country.
Yeah, I guess. White milk.
White milk.
White milk. Whole milk. Okay, moving on. The NFL has decided that they will use NFL data chips in footballs this year. In kicking footballs, the goal to determine when the ball passes through the uprights, exactly how far between the uprights it sits because of all the changes they think they want to make to kicking and kicking game, and if they want to make the uprights slimmer. And it's something that you mentioned. They will not be able to be PSI readers, Ben. The question arose because naturally in the Deflategate era, would the technology provide real-time PSI, pounds per square inch measurements? The answer is no. However, the technology exists and could be added to the arrangement if the league desires. The addition would be similar to the tool that warns automobile drivers that the tires are underinflated. But no, this does not consist of currently anything that tells you about the PSI. It will provide information ranging from the precise location during kicks to the velocity of throws by quarterbacks, and there is no indication that the NFL has plans to use PSI measurements. So, Ben, in your face.
Is this even necessary?
It's for the science of the game.
I guess so. I just wonder if you'll be able to tell a difference in the balls. That'd be the one thing that would scare me if I was a player.
I don't know. It depends on how they put it in there, I suppose. I mean, I imagine if it affects the game, they wouldn't.
Or I wonder if they'll be able, or they'll be told where it's located. Because I'm sure if you were a kicker, a punter, you'd want to have that facing away from you, so you don't maybe.
It's inside the ball, not on the outside.
No, I know, but if you can maybe still feel it inside.
Oh, I'm not sure. What is funny though is I was reading this, and it's a list that says what they can and what they can't do. And it says the ball, it should measure everything the ball does, right? And it says, pretty much location, speed, trajectory, ball's precise location, all that stuff. Like it says, you might be interested in, for example, in how exactly how many feet Robert Griffin III throws the ball over his receivers' heads.
I would say that's more for Colin Kaepernick, but
Colin Kaepernick throws them to the ground, man.
He throws they're measuring velocity, right? That'd be interesting.
Yeah, he throws hard.
He's a former pitcher.
I'd be interested for most of those top-tier quarterbacks, Roethlisberger, Rodgers, Flacco.
I know Rodgers guns it. Guns it.
I swear, before moving on, I swear he never has a consistent arm slot when he throws. He'll be
kind of like Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow had an ugly arm slot, but I'm saying Rodgers will throw like sidearm. He'll throw overhand. He'll throw on one foot. He'll throw on no feet. He'll throw on both feet.
Occasionally,
he'll step into it like an actual quarterback motion, or he'll just throw without even turning his shoulders. Like, man.
Occasionally, if he's on the run, he'll throw like a little shovel pass with his left hand, his offhand.
He'll go straight Favre with it.
Hey, he learned from Brett Favre, the old gunslinger. So I mean, yeah. All right, moving on. Pokemon Go, Alex. It's taken over the world.
Pokemon Go away.
Literally, the last 2 weeks has taken over the world, in my opinion. It's now hitting Major League Baseball.
Yeah, but Jeremiah talked about it a couple episodes ago on our football podcast. It hit football first, too. It hit football big.
So Pokemon Go is hitting Major League Baseball parks.
Okay.
Primarily here, the story with Mike Trout of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. So Trout comes in to the clubhouse today asking, "Are there any Pokemon in here?" Trout, looking for Pokemon as a member of the Angels, looking in the clubhouse, trying to find if there's any Pokemon scattered. You hate Pokemon Go. Why?
Because I was into Pokemon as a kid for the most part, but not even that much. You know what I mean? Just enough. I used to watch the show. I had the cards until Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out, and I was more interested. And then Digimon came out, and I liked Digimon more because they could talk. But I never really got further than liking those original ones. You know, I loved Pikachu. I liked Charizard. I liked Charmander. Excuse me. I liked Squirtle. I didn't really like Bulbasaur that much, but you know, I enjoyed them for the most part. I don't need some kid coming up and telling me all about his Pokemon that he thinks is all brand new and stuff. Like, you weren't there in the beginning, kid. You don't know.
That's true.
You don't know like me. You never will. You weren't there in the old times.
They will never know the first generation.
You won't know Mewtwo
like
I do.
Like our generation will.
You won't know Mewtwo like I do.
He will never know. That's true. But, I mean, it's fun. You know, it's catchy. No pun intended.
That was good. That was really good. That was really good.
So, yeah, it's taking over baseball now. Mike Trout's looking for the Pokemon.
Oh, man.
Not necessarily looking for the right ball placement to hit it out of the park, but looking for Pokemon in the clubhouse.
I mean, you gotta unwind somehow, right?
Gotta start somewhere, right?
Somehow. All right. So, my last trending of the day.
And then I'll do one more, too.
All right, I like it. My last trending of the day is Rob Gronkowski, who just seems to just have the best time, whether he's playing football or not, but he does it in a good way because he doesn't do it in a Manziel way where it's harmful to himself. He just has fun, and then he's back to business.
The Gronk, what was that, the Gronk boat or whatever? The Gronk Party.
Cruise, yeah,
the Gronk
Party Cruise. He was, he lives in Boston because he plays for the New England Patriots. And the legendary and one of my favorite artists of all time, Paul McCartney, was having a show in Boston. And Gronkowski went up on stage and sang the famous Beatle tune Helter Skelter with him. Not very well, if I might add. He was just kind of yelling it, but it was very entertaining to watch, I might add. Gronkowski just seems like he's having fun all the time. You know,
I'd say of any player in the NFL, Gronkowski has the most fun of any player in the NFL.
Yeah, I would be hard pressed to find somebody else.
I think second is probably Odell Beckham because Odell Beckham
travels around.
He goes, exactly. He goes everywhere. Like he was just recently with the German soccer team Bayern Munich. He was just recently over with them having. He's a big soccer fan, so he was having some fun over there with them. But I think Gronk has the most fun of any NFL player, from dancing in the club with broken arms to the Gronk Party Cruise or whatever it is. Now he's on stage with the Beatles legend Sir Paul McCartney.
Yep.
What's not to love about Gronk? Seriously.
I mean, and he doesn't like. He may do some stuff where he'll run you over and then he'll talk to you on the football field, but everybody talks on the football field. You know, it's
part of the game.
It's part of the game. For the most part, everybody talks. You know, I like one of my favorite talkers is Phillip Rivers because it's just so funny. Like you're like, what are you talking about, Phillip Rivers? Like, shut up, man. And he's just so feisty. But
Phillip Rivers and his what is it, a bolo tie or
bolo tie? Yeah,
his bolo ties.
Yeah, man, bolo tie. It's just funny, you know. It's just funny. I think it's really funny. But yeah, He definitely seems to have the most fun out of everybody in the NFL. I'll tell you that.
You know a guy who has a lot of fun as well? Michigan football coach Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh does have a lot of fun, doesn't he?
From wearing Walmart khakis to now appearing in rap videos.
Rap videos?
Yes.
I mean, he was part of the Bears, not the 85 Bears, but he was part of the Bears at one point.
So Jim Harbaugh appears in Michigan-inspired music video.
Wow.
So who's got it better than the Michigan Wolverines? Nobody,
I guess.
According to Bay Area rapper Bailey.
Never heard of him.
I've never heard of him as well. But a couple years ago, reports are that he did a tribute track to his hometown SF 49ers, and now he's doing one to Jim Harbaugh, former 49ers head coach.
Well, I mean, that's cool. Does he rap in it? Or does he just
he drops bars in it.
Oh my god.
So in it, Bailey exploits the committed khaki wearer's best talents, namely shouting.
Yeah, he's a good shouter.
Jim Harbaugh's a great shouter.
Yeah, he gets pretty loud and he gets pretty good at it too.
If anything, Jim Harbaugh is the best publicist because all he's going to do is add recruits by doing this.
Mm-hmm.
By doing such his off the radar things that he always does. All it does is just get people to be like, "Oh wow, Jim Harbaugh's like just a cool guy. Like I'd love to play for him."
I would probably
he's
like
smart.
to play for Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh is so smart.
Yeah, you're probably true. I'm
This is
sorry,
so
you're probably
smart.
Right.
It's funny, it's catchy, it's clever. He's really smart.
You seem to just be a big fan of his.
Yes and no. When Harbaugh was on the 49ers, as you know, I'm a Packers fan. A couple years ago,
Yes.
for the past 2 years leading up to that, the Packers and the 49ers had this budding rivalry. We would always
because of that game that Kaepernick had.
No, but that was really the tipping point of it. Because we would always play each other, and the 49ers would beat us. Then we played in the playoffs. Kaepernick ran wild on us.
You could say that.
Then the next year, the Niners were the wild card team, and Green Bay won the division at 8-7-1. So then we hosted the playoff game when we shouldn't have in one of those historically cold, frozen tundra Lambeau Field games, and the Niners beat us again. And I'm just God, I hate the 49ers, and Jim Harbaugh's really, really emotional and adamant.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're I hate that guy.
I hate that guy. And then now is in Michigan. 49ers aren't doing so well. Really one of the, in my opinion, one of the least talented teams in the NFL. And now it's wow, Jim Harbaugh's just a great guy now. It's he's one of those guys that you love to have on your team, but you hate to play against.
You're so backwards, man.
I don't know, but yeah, I thought that was really clever.
All right.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody.
Nobody, apparently.
Nobody.
In the Big Ten, I guess. All right. Well, hey, you know what? That is it for my last show of the week. It was a good show.
Well, we still have to record our soccer show next.
Well, I'm talking about
for
sports, man.
Soccer is sports, Alex.
But this is the Sport Podcast.
Yes, it is. This is
Ben.
the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast.
Well, you want to tell them where they can hear and find the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, Ben?
Yes, I will. You can hear us on iTunes. iTunes is really big for us. Make sure you leave a rating and a comment. We would love to hear
what you have to say.
You can find us on our podcast network's webpage. It's gsmcpodcast.com. You can find us on things like YouTube, GSMC Podcast Network, as well as Facebook. We're on Twitter and Instagram at GSMC_sports. If you're looking for a mobile playback, you can find us on things like SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher. And I think that's all of them.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I
YouTube.
touched base on all. I said YouTube. Yeah,
good job.
I think I touched base on all of them.
I think you touched base on all of them, too.
Okay.
Proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, thanks, man.
You're welcome.
That means a lot.
Coming from me, I hope so.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. I will be back next week. You have 2 solo episodes coming from Ben.
Yes, sir.
On Thursday, so look forward to those. As always, I am Alex.
And I'm Ben.
And I will see you next week.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.